Zara Harper stood at the floor-to-ceiling window of her penthouse office, watching the first snowfall of December blanket Manhattan in pristine white. When she realized, she had forgotten what joy looked like. The realization hit her hard, unexpected as the snow that now swirled past the glass in lazy spirals. Below, the city transformed into something softer, quieter, almost magical. She pressed her palm against the cold window, feeling nothing but the temperature difference between her climate-controlled world and the winter outside. At 32, she had built an empire from her father's modest tech company, turning it into a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate that dominated the artificial intelligence industry. She had everything money could buy and nothing that mattered. Her assistant knocked softly. "Miss Harper, your car is ready for the Connecticut property inspection." Zara nodded, gathering her tablet and cashmere coat. She had purchased a historic estate in rural Connecticut 3 months ago, sight unseen, as a potential retreat location. Today was her first visit to actually see what she owned. The drive took 2 hours through increasingly heavy snow, her driver navigating carefully as the cityscape gave way to small towns, and eventually to winding country roads lined with bare trees dressed in fresh powder. The estate sat on 20 acres of pristine woodland, and as they pulled up the long driveway, Zara noticed something unusual. Beyond the wrought iron fence that bordered her property, in what appeared to be a small clearing, 3 figures moved against the white landscape. She found herself telling her driver to stop, her eyes fixed on the scene unfolding just outside her boundary. A man and 2 children were building a snowman. Not just any snowman, but an elaborate creation that already stood nearly 6 feet tall. The man wore a worn canvas jacket that had seen better years, jeans with patches at the knees, and work boots that left deep impressions in the snow. His dark hair, almost black, was covered by a knit cap that one of the children, a little girl, had apparently decorated with a pom-pom that kept flopping into his eyes. He laughed each time it happened, a sound so genuine it carried across the cold air. The little girl, maybe 7 or 8, danced around him with boundless energy, her pink jacket bright as a cardinal against the snow. She chattered constantly, her breath making little clouds in the air. The boy, slightly older, perhaps 10, worked with quiet concentration, carefully shaping the snowman's middle section with gloved hands. The man, clearly their father based on the way he moved between them with practiced ease, helped them both while keeping up a steady stream of conversation Zara could not quite hear. She watched as he hoisted the little girl onto his shoulders so she could place a carrot nose on the snowman's face. The girl shrieked with delight, and the father steadied her with hands that, even from this distance, Zara could see were reddened by the cold. He wore no gloves. Neither did the boy, she noticed, though the children both had them. Something in her chest tightened. The real estate agent was waiting at the main house, probably wondering where she was. Zara had a schedule to keep, a conference call in 3 hours, a dinner meeting at 7. But she could not look away from this simple scene. The father was laughing again, spinning slowly with his daughter on his shoulders, while the son rolled his eyes in that way pre-teens do when they are simultaneously embarrassed and delighted by their parents. They were building more than a snowman, Zara realized. They were building a memory. The kind of memory that would last long after the snow melted, the kind that would be recounted at future gatherings, each telling adding new embellishments and laughter. The kind of memory she had never had. Her driver cleared his throat gently. "Miss Harper." "Just another moment," she said softly. The father had set his daughter down now and was helping his son lift a large ball of snow for the snowman's head. It was clearly heavy, but the man let the boy do most of the work, only steadying it at the last moment when it threatened to roll off. The boy beamed with pride when it settled into place. The father ruffled his hair, and even from this distance, Zara could see the love in that simple gesture. What kind of man chose to spend a freezing December afternoon building a snowman instead of staying inside where it was warm? What kind of father gave his gloves to his children and accepted cold hands as the price of their comfort? What kind of person found this much joy in something that cost nothing and would melt within days? The kind of person she had never met in her rarefied world of boardrooms and charity galas and calculated relationships. "Okay," she said finally, "let us go." But as they drove up to the main house, she kept glancing back, catching glimpses through the trees of that bright pink jacket, that tall figure, that slowly growing snowman. The estate inspection took 3 hours. The real estate agent droned on about original moldings and updated electrical systems and the historical significance of the ballroom. Zara nodded in the right places, signed the right documents, and made notes about renovations on her tablet. But her mind kept drifting to that clearing, to those 3 figures in the snow. When it was finally over and the agent had left, Zara found herself walking the property boundaries. She told herself she was inspecting what she had bought, familiarizing herself with the land. But her feet carried her unerringly toward that clearing, toward where she had seen them. The snowman stood complete now, adorned with a scarf that looked hand-knitted, its pattern slightly uneven in the way that spoke of love rather than professional skill. Stick arms reached out as if embracing the winter air. The carrot nose sat at a jaunty angle, and someone had used small stones to create a wide, friendly smile. But the family was gone. Zara stood at her property line, looking at this temporary sculpture, and felt an unexpected sense of loss. She did not even know their names. She would probably never see them again. And yet something about that brief glimpse had lodged itself in her chest like a splinter, small but impossible to ignore. She returned to the main house as dusk fell, painting the snow in shades of blue and purple. Her driver was waiting to take her back to the city, but Zara surprised herself by saying, "I am staying tonight. You can head back. I will drive myself tomorrow." Once alone in the empty, echoing house, she found herself drawn again to the windows that faced the clearing. Someone had placed solar lights around the snowman. They flickered on as darkness settled, casting a warm glow that made the sculpture look almost alive. Zara pressed her hand against the window glass again, as she had done that morning in her office. But this time, she felt something. A yearning for something she could not name, a hunger for a life she did not know how to live. She slept poorly in the unfamiliar house, wrapped in the emergency blanket from her car, because she had not thought to have the heat turned up properly. In the morning, she made instant coffee from packets she found in the agent's folder and stood again at that window. Movement caught her eye. The man was back, alone this time. He stood looking at the snowman, his hands shoved deep in the pockets of that worn jacket. Even from this distance, she could see the weariness in his posture, the weight he seemed to carry. Then he noticed something. One of the snowman's stick arms had fallen off during the night. He moved forward immediately, searching for a replacement, carefully fixing it back in place. Zara found herself pulling on her coat and boots before she consciously decided to do it. She walked across her pristine, empty lawn toward the fence line toward him. He heard her approach and turned, his expression immediately wary. Up close, she could see he was probably in his mid-30s, with dark brown eyes that held both warmth and caution. A scar cut through his left eyebrow. His face was weathered by work and wind, handsome in a rough, unpolished way that made her designer-clad dates look like boys playing dress-up. "Sorry," he said immediately. "The kids love this spot, and we didn't realize we were so close to private property until it was almost done yesterday. We won't come back." "No," Zara said quickly, then realized how abrupt that sounded. "I mean, it is fine. You are not actually on my property. This is public land." He relaxed slightly but still looked uncomfortable. "The kids went to school. I work nights, so I was just checking on their project, making sure it survived. You did not have to do that." Something flickered in his expression. "Yeah, I did." "Emma, that is my daughter. She made me promise. She has been worried about it all night." Zara smiled despite herself. How old is she? 7, going on 30 most days. His face softened when he talked about her. My son Liam is 10. They worked hard on this. It is important to them. You are a good father. He looked at her properly then, seeming to really see her for the first time. She knew what he saw. Expensive coat that cost more than most people's monthly rent, designer boots, hair and makeup perfect even at 8 in the morning. Everything about her screamed wealth and privilege. I try, he said carefully. Look, I should go. I have to sleep before my shift tonight. What do you do? The question came out before Zara could stop it. Too personal, too curious. He hesitated, pride and defensiveness warring in his expression. I am a machinist. Work at a manufacturing plant about 20 miles from here. Night shift pays better. And during the day? I am with the kids when they are not in school. My mom helps out some, but she has her own health issues. He shifted his weight, clearly wanting to leave but too polite to just walk away. I am Zara, she offered, extending her hand. He looked at it for a moment before accepting. His hand was calloused, rough, warm despite the cold. Nathan Morrison. The name fit him somehow. Strong, straightforward, no pretense. Your Snowman is very impressive, Nathan Morrison. A small smile tugged at his lips. That is all, Emma and Liam. I just provided structural support. You gave them your gloves. His smile faded. They needed them more than I did. You could have all stayed inside where it was warm. They needed this more than they needed warm. His voice was quiet but firm. It has been a hard year. Their mom passed away 18 months ago. Sometimes you build a snowman not because the weather is nice, but because your kids need to remember how to be kids. The words hit Zara like a physical blow. This man, working night shifts and raising 2 children alone and dealing with grief and financial struggle, had taken hours in the freezing cold to give his children joy. He had given them his gloves, his time, his energy, everything he had. I am so sorry, she said, and meant it more than she had meant anything in a long time. Thank you. He cleared his throat. I really should go. Of course. It was nice meeting you, Nathan. He nodded and started to walk away, then turned back. Your property is beautiful. The kids and I, we walk past here sometimes. It sat empty for so long, we used to wonder what kind of person would buy a place like that and never visit. What kind of person did you imagine? He met her eyes directly. Someone who had everything and appreciated nothing. The truth of it stung. Maybe you were right. Maybe. He studied her for a long moment. Or maybe they just had not found anything worth appreciating yet. Then he walked away, his boots crunching in the snow, leaving Zara standing at the fence line wondering why his words felt like both an accusation and an invitation. She stayed at the estate that day, instead of returning to the city. She told herself it was to properly assess the property, to make plans for renovations. But as afternoon faded to evening, she found herself back at that window, watching. And at 4:15, a school bus stopped on the road, and 2 children tumbled out, racing toward the clearing and their snowman. Emma's pink jacket was as bright as before. She ran straight to the snowman, checking it over like a doctor examining a patient. Liam followed more slowly, but his face lit up when he saw it intact. They played in the snow, making snow angels and throwing snowballs, and laughing with the kind of unself-conscious joy that adults forget exists. Zara watched until the light faded and Nathan appeared, walking up the road from what must be his home. He scooped Emma up in a hug, listened intently to something Liam was explaining with animated gestures, and then herded them both toward home, all 3 of them turning back to wave at the snowman before they disappeared down the road. Something in Zara's chest ached. She returned to the city that night, but found herself distracted during her meetings. She kept thinking about Nathan's words, about the way he looked at his children, about what it meant to give everything you had even when you had so little to give. The following Saturday, Zara drove back to Connecticut. She told herself it was to meet with contractors about the renovations, but she knew she was lying to herself before her car even left the city limits. The snowman was still there, though starting to show signs of melting and refreezing. Someone had given it a hat now, a red knit cap that looked homemade. And the Morrison family was back, this time building a smaller snowman beside the first. Zara watched from her window for an hour before she gave into the pull and walked back to the fence line. The children saw her first. Emma waved enthusiastically, and Liam elbowed his father, pointing. Nathan turned, surprise crossing his face. He said something to the kids, then walked over to the fence. "Checking on your property?" "Something like that." Zara smiled. "I see your snow family is growing." Emma decided the first one was lonely, so now he has a friend, or a wife, Emma called out, apparently listening despite the distance. Nathan's expression was complicated. "Or that." "Does this help?" Zara asked softly. "Building snowmen and making memories? Some days more than others." He looked back at his children. "But yeah, it helps. It reminds them that life is not just about what we lost. There is still good stuff to find." "That is a hard lesson to teach when you are hurting too," he met her eyes. "Who says I am hurting? Your son is wearing gloves today." "But you still are not." A flash of something, respect maybe, or recognition. "I have 2 pairs now. The woman I work with, Maria, her husband outgrew his. She brought them for me, but I forget them sometimes. Or you give them to your mother on cold days." He almost smiled. "How did you know?" "Because that is who you are, Nathan Morrison. You give away what you have, even when you have nothing to spare." They stood in silence for a moment, the cold wind moving between them, carrying the sound of children's laughter. "Why do you keep coming back?" Nathan asked suddenly. "To watch us, I mean. I have seen your car, I have seen you at the window." Zara felt her cheeks warm with something that was not the cold. "I do not know how to answer that. Try honesty?" "Honestly." "Because yesterday, standing at my office window in Manhattan, I realized I have forgotten what joy looks like. And then I saw you with your children, and I remembered. Or maybe I learned for the first time." Nathan was quiet for a long moment. "Joy is not something you can buy, Miss Harper." "I know. That is why I do not have any." He studied her face. "I think you are looking for something. I think you are right. I just do not know what it is yet." "Miss Harper," Emma's voice cut through the moment, "do you want to help? We need more snow for the body." Zara looked at Nathan, who shrugged. "Your land, your choice, but my kids do not know the difference between a billionaire and anyone else. To them, you are just the new neighbor." "I am not dressed for snow." "No, you are not." He was definitely almost smiling now. "But Emma does not care about that." Zara made a decision that would have shocked everyone who knew her. She climbed over the fence, her expensive coat catching on the wood, her designer boots sinking into the snow, and walked toward 2 children who looked at her with open, curious faces. "I am Zara," she said, kneeling down to Emma's level. "I am Emma, and that is my brother Liam, and that is my dad, but you already know him because you were talking." Emma barely paused for breath. "Can you help us make the snow body really good?" "Dad says we need to pack it tight or it will fall apart." "I have never built a snowman before." Both children stared at her. "Never?" Liam asked, disbelief written across his face. "Never. I grew up in the city. We did not really do things like this." "That is so sad," Emma said with the blunt honesty of childhood. "But it is okay because we can teach you. Right, Dad?" Nathan had followed her over, and now he nodded. "Right. Everyone should know how to build a snowman." For the next 2 hours, Zara Harper, CEO of one of the world's most valuable tech companies, learned to pack snow, to roll it into balls, to build something temporary and beautiful and utterly without monetary value. Her hands grew numb despite the spare gloves Liam loaned her, his own smaller pair. Her knees were soaked from kneeling in the snow. Her hair fell out of its careful style, and her makeup probably ran, and she laughed. Really laughed for the first time in years. Emma kept up a running commentary about everything from school to her loose tooth, to how her dad made the best grilled cheese, but burned toast every single time. Liam was more reserved, but slowly warmed up. showing Zara the proper technique for smoothing the snow surface and explaining the structural integrity of proper snowman architecture with the seriousness of an engineer. Nathan worked beside them, quiet but present, occasionally meeting Zara's eyes with an expression she could not quite read. When the second snowman was complete, Emma insisted they all hold hands around it while she made a wish. Zara found herself between Nathan and Liam, their hands warm in hers, Emma's small voice saying something about her wish involving her mom and heaven and the snowman lasting forever. Zara had to blink back unexpected tears. As the sun began to set, Nathan called time. "Homework and dinner, guys." "Say goodbye." "Do you have to go?" Emma asked Zara. "You could have dinner with us. Dad is making spaghetti." "Emma, Miss Harper probably has plans," Nathan said, but there was something in his voice, a hope perhaps, or a question. "I do not have plans," Zara heard herself say. "But I do not want to intrude." "Please intrude," Emma said immediately. "It is just sauce from a jar and noodles, but Dad puts in extra meat and it is really good." Nathan looked embarrassed. "It is nothing fancy." "I spend my life eating fancy food. It all tastes like cardboard." Zara surprised herself with her own honesty. "Spaghetti sounds perfect." They walked together down the road to a small house that had seen better years. The paint was faded, the porch sagged slightly on one side, but someone had hung a wreath on the door, and warm light glowed from the windows. It looked like a home in a way Zara's penthouse never had. Inside was clean but worn, furniture that did not match but was comfortable, walls covered with children's artwork and family photos. Zara saw a woman in many of the photos, pretty and smiling, and knew this must be the wife Nathan had lost. She looked happy in every picture. "That is Mom," Emma said, following Zara's gaze. "She died because she was sick, but Dad says she can still see us from heaven." "I am sure she can," Zara said softly, "and I bet she is very proud of you both." While Nathan cooked, Zara sat at the kitchen table helping Liam with his math homework. It was geometry, and Zara found herself explaining angles and proofs in a way that made it click for him. His face lit up when he understood, and she felt a surge of satisfaction completely different from any business success. Emma colored at the other end of the table, occasionally looking up to ask Zara random questions. "Are you married? Do you have kids? Why do you have such a big house? Does your job make you happy?" Nathan kept apologizing for Emma's directness, but Zara found she did not mind. There was something refreshing about being asked real questions, about being expected to give real answers. "I am not married. I do not have children. I have a big house because I have a lot of money, and no, my job does not make me happy." Emma considered this. "Then why do you do it?" "That is a very good question, Emma. I think because I forgot how to do anything else." "That is sad," Emma said matter-of-factly. "You should find something that makes you happy." "You are absolutely right." Dinner was, as promised, spaghetti with jarred sauce and extra meat. It was one of the best meals Zara had ever eaten. They sat around a small table, passing garlic bread and grated cheese, and talked about school and work and the snowmen and nothing important and everything important all at once. Zara watched Nathan with his children, the way he listened to every story, asked follow-up questions, made them feel heard. He was exhausted, she could see it in the lines around his eyes, but he gave them his full attention as if he had all the energy in the world. After dinner, Liam had more homework and Emma needed a bath. Nathan looked torn. "I am sorry, I need to do parent stuff." "Can I help?" He looked surprised. "You want to? I want to." So Zara found herself reading picture books to Emma while Nathan supervised Liam's science project. Later, she helped clean the kitchen while Nathan got Emma into pajamas. It was all so ordinary, so domestic, so far from her normal life, and it felt right in a way nothing had felt right in years. When the children were finally in bed, Nathan made coffee, and they sat in the small living room. The furniture was secondhand, the coffee table had water rings, but it was comfortable in a way her designer penthouse had never been. "Thank you for today," Nathan said. "The kids, they really enjoyed having you around. I enjoyed it too, more than I can explain. You are not what I expected. What did you expect? I do not know, someone more. He gestured vaguely, distant, I guess, cold maybe. That is what I have always heard about people with money. I have been distant and cold for most of my life, Zara admitted. I just did not realize it until I saw you building a snowman with your kids. Nathan was quiet for a moment. Can I ask you something, and will you give me an honest answer? Yes. Why are you really here? What do you want from us? The question was fair, and Zara took her time answering. I think I want to understand something I have never understood. How to live a life that matters, how to be present, how to find joy in small things. You have that, Nathan. Despite everything you have been through, despite how hard things are, you have something I have spent my entire life accumulating wealth and power, and I have never been happy. You work night shifts and raise 2 kids alone and build snowmen in the freezing cold, and you are happy. Or at least you know how to be. I am not always happy, he said quietly. Some days I am barely holding it together, but you keep building snowmen anyway. Yeah, I guess I do. He met her eyes. But Zara, I am not a project you can take on, neither are my kids. If you are looking for some kind of purpose or meaning, we cannot be that for you. That is something you have to find in yourself. I know, and I am not looking for a project, I am just looking for. She trailed off, not sure how to finish. For what? For something real. Everyone in my life wants something from me. Money or connections or favors. No one just wants me. Those kids in there, they just want you. They do not know anything about your money or your company. They just know you are the nice lady who helped build a snowman and can explain geometry. Zara felt tears threatening again. That is the nicest thing anyone has said to me in years. Nathan set down his coffee cup. Look, I am going to be straight with you because that is the only way I know how to be. You seem like a good person who is lost, and I like you. Emma and Liam like you. But my life is complicated and messy and nothing like what you are used to. I work nights. Money is tight. Some days I am so tired I can barely see straight. I am still grieving my wife and probably will be for a long time. And my kids, they have been through hell. They are doing better, but they are still healing. I cannot afford to let anyone into our lives who is not going to stay. I understand. Do you? Because I am not trying to be harsh, but your world and mine, they are not compatible. You are going to get bored of this. You are going to realize that poverty is not charming or noble, it is just exhausting. And when you do, I need you to walk away cleanly. Do not drag it out. Do not make my kids love you and then disappear. The words were like a slap, but Zara knew they were fair. You are right to protect them. You are right to be cautious. I cannot promise you anything because I do not understand my own feelings right now, but I can promise you this. I would never intentionally hurt your children. And if I realize that my presence in their lives is going to cause harm, I will remove myself. Nathan nodded slowly. Okay, that is fair. They sat in silence for a while, the weight of unspoken things hanging between them. Finally, Zara stood. I should go, it is late, and you need to sleep before your shift. He walked her to the door. Outside, the temperature had dropped, and stars blazed in the clear winter sky. Thank you for dinner, Zara said, for everything today. Thank you for helping with the snowman and for making my kids smile. She turned to leave, then stopped. Nathan, would it be okay if I came back? Not tomorrow necessarily, but soon. I would like to see them again, see you again. He was quiet for so long she thought he would say no. Then, yeah, that would be okay. The drive back to the city felt longer than usual. Zara kept thinking about that small, warm house, about Emma's constant chatter and Liam's shy smile and Nathan's careful protectiveness. She thought about the photos of his late wife, the worn furniture, the simple meal that had felt like a feast. Her penthouse felt cold and empty when she got home. Everything was perfect. Designer furniture arranged just so, art on the walls that cost more than most people's houses, a view that real estate agents called breathtaking. But there were no water rings on her coffee table because no one ever drank coffee there. There were no children's drawings on her walls because no children ever visited. There was no warmth, no life, no love, just success. Empty, hollow success. Zara made a decision that night. She began working remotely from the Connecticut estate, only going into the city for necessary meetings. Her executives were surprised, but pleased that she was finally using the property. They thought she was taking their advice about work-life balance. They did not know she was actually searching for a life to balance with her work. The next weekend, she drove past Nathan's house and saw him in the driveway, working on an old truck that looked like it had given up the ghost. She pulled over. Car trouble? He looked up, wiping grease on a rag. Truck trouble. She finally died for good this time. What will you do? Walk to work, probably, or see if Maria's husband can give me rides for a while. I will figure it out. Zara bit her tongue against the immediate offer to buy him a new truck. She knew instinctively that would insult him. Is there anything I can do to help? Unless you know something about engine repair that I do not, probably not. He sighed. It is fine. I knew this was coming. I have been nursing this thing along for 2 years. How far is your work? 20 miles. Not terrible for walking. He said it like he was serious. Nathan, you cannot walk 20 miles each way in winter. Then I will figure out something else. I always do. His pride was both admirable and frustrating. Could you accept help from a friend? Is that what we are, friends? I would like to be. He studied her face. What kind of help? Let me drive you to work, just until you figure out something more permanent. Zara, your car probably costs more than my house. You cannot spend your nights driving me to and from work. Why not? I am not sleeping much anyway, and I am living at the estate now, mostly. It is not that far out of my way. It is completely out of your way, and we both know it. Nathan, please, let me do this, not as charity, but as a friend helping a friend. He clearly wanted to refuse. She could see the struggle in his expression, pride warring with practical necessity. Finally, he nodded. Just until I can arrange something else, and I pay for gas. Deal. That night, she picked him up at 10:30 and drove him to the manufacturing plant. He was quiet during the drive, clearly uncomfortable. Tell me about your job, Zara said, trying to ease the tension. He relaxed slightly, talking about the machines he operated, the parts they made, the satisfaction of precision work. He was good at what he did. She could hear it in his voice, the pride of craftsmanship. What about you? He asked. What exactly does a tech billionaire do all day? She laughed. Mostly meetings, deciding which innovations to fund, which markets to enter, which companies to acquire. It is not as exciting as it sounds, but you are good at it. I am very good at it. I just do not know why I do it anymore. Maybe you need a new challenge. Maybe I need a new life. The words hung between them, heavier than she had intended. She picked him up again at 7 in the morning. He looked exhausted, but he smiled when he saw her. You actually came. I said I would. Rich people do not always keep their promises to people like me. I am not most rich people, Nathan. No, he said quietly. I am starting to see that. She drove him home, and Emma ran out in her pajamas to greet them, followed by a worried-looking older woman. I am so sorry, the woman called. She got away from me. It is okay, Mom. Nathan scooped Emma up, wrapping his jacket around her. Let us get you back inside before you freeze. But Emma was focused on Zara. Are you coming to breakfast? Grandma makes good pancakes. Nathan looked embarrassed. Emma, Miss Harper probably has work. Actually, pancakes sound wonderful, Zara said. Nathan's mother, Carol, was a thin woman with kind eyes and hands gnarled by arthritis. She watched Zara with frank curiosity over breakfast, asking polite questions that Zara knew were really assessments. Was she trustworthy? Would she hurt this family? What did she really want? Zara tried to answer honestly, aware that she was being judged and that she probably deserved the scrutiny. My son is a good man, Carol said finally, when Nathan had gone to get ready for bed and the kids were watching cartoons in the other room. But he has been through hell. Those kids have been through hell. If you are just looking for entertainment or a story to tell your rich friends, walk away now. I am not, Zara said quietly. "I promise you I am not." "Then what are you looking for?" "Honestly, I do not know yet, but whatever it is, I promise I will not hurt them while I figure it out." Carol studied her for a long moment. "I believe you mean that. Just make sure you keep meaning it." Over the next few weeks, a pattern developed. Zara drove Nathan to and from work. She spent time at the estate during the day, working remotely, but she found herself drawn back to that small house in the evenings. She would help with homework, or make dinner while Nathan slept, or just sit and talk with Carol while the kids played. Slowly, carefully, she became part of their lives. She learned that Liam wanted to be an engineer and spent hours building elaborate structures from cardboard and tape. She learned that Emma was afraid of thunderstorms, but not of the dark, that she slept with a stuffed rabbit named Mr. Floppy that had been her mother's. She learned that Nathan took online classes when he could, working toward a degree he might never finish because there was never enough time or money. She learned that Carol had rheumatoid arthritis that was getting progressively worse, that she pushed through pain every day to help with her grandchildren, and she learned that love was not about grand gestures or expensive gifts. It was about showing up, being present. Remembering that Liam liked his sandwiches cut diagonally, and Emma refused to eat anything green unless it was mixed into something else. Christmas approached. Zara overheard Nathan on the phone one night, talking quietly to someone about picking up extra shifts, about needing to save money for presents. His voice was tight with stress. The next day, Zara went shopping. Not at her usual high-end stores, but at normal places where normal people shopped. She bought art supplies for Emma, who loved to draw. She bought an advanced building set for Liam. She bought warm gloves for Nathan, quality ones that would actually keep his hands warm. She wrapped them carefully and brought them over one evening. Nathan looked at the presents and then at her. "Zara, you cannot. They are just small things." "Those are not small things, and you know it. We talked about this. We talked about me not treating your family like a project. We did not talk about friends giving each other gifts at Christmas. Friends give each other normal gifts. Not things that cost more than my electric bill. These are normal gifts. I just shop at different stores than you do." They stared at each other, and Zara saw the war in his expression. Pride and gratitude and frustration all tangled together. "Please," she said softly, "let me do this. Not because I think you cannot take care of your family, but because it makes me happy to make them happy. This is too much. Nathan, you have given me something I have been looking for my whole life. You have shown me what it means to live with purpose and love and joy. You have let me into your home and your life. You have let me be part of your family. That is worth more than any amount of money. Please let me give something back." He was quiet for a long moment, then he nodded. "Okay, but this is it. No more expensive gifts. If you want to be part of our lives, you are just Zara, not Zara the billionaire. Deal." Christmas morning, Zara woke up alone in her big empty estate and made a decision. She drove to Nathan's house at 8 in the morning. He answered the door in pajama pants and a worn t-shirt, his hair rumpled from sleep. "Zara, what are you doing here?" "I did not want to be alone on Christmas. Can I spend it with you?" Behind him, she could hear the kids squealing about presents, Carol laughing at something. She could smell coffee and cinnamon rolls. Nathan stepped back without a word, holding the door open. It was the best Christmas of Zara's life. They opened presents in pajamas, Emma and Liam tearing into their gifts with wild enthusiasm. The building set was a huge hit with Liam, who immediately started planning an elaborate structure. Emma hugged Zara so hard she could barely breathe, thanking her over and over for the art supplies. Nathan opened his gift last, the gloves. He put them on immediately, flexing his fingers, and smiled. "Perfect fit." "Your hands were cold," Zara said simply. "Not anymore." They made a huge breakfast together, everyone working in the small kitchen, bumping into each other and laughing. Carol taught Zara how to make her special scrambled eggs. Emma insisted on setting the table with special Christmas napkins. Liam showed Zara his mother's recipe for cinnamon rolls, carefully written on a stained index card, and together, they tried to recreate them. After breakfast, they went out to check on the Snowman, which had survived surprisingly well through the winter weather. Emma wanted to build a third one, but Nathan said they should wait for more snow. The best snowmen need fresh snow, he explained. Otherwise, they are just lumpy ice. That afternoon, while the kids played with their new toys and Carol napped, Nathan and Zara sat on the sagging porch, wrapped in blankets, drinking hot chocolate. "This is the best Christmas I have had in years," Nathan said quietly. "Since before Rachel got sick." It was the first time he had said his late wife's name around Zara. "Thank you for sharing it with me. Thank you for being here, for caring about my kids, for showing up every day, even when it is not exciting or glamorous. This is more exciting and glamorous than anything else in my life." He turned to look at her. "You mean that, do not you? You really are happy here." "Happier than I have been in my entire life." They sat in comfortable silence, watching the winter sun paint the snow pink and gold. Zara felt something shifting inside her, something fundamental. She was falling in love with this life, with this family, with this man. The realization should have terrified her. Instead, it felt like coming home. As winter deepened into January, Zara found herself spending more and more time with the Morrisons. She stopped thinking of them as Nathan and the kids and started thinking of them as hers. Her family, even if she had no right to claim them. She was there when Emma lost her loose tooth and put it under her pillow for the tooth fairy. She was the one who helped Nathan remember to swap it for a dollar bill at midnight, giggling like conspirators in the dark hallway. She was there when Liam won first place at the science fair with his project on bridge construction, his face glowing with pride. She was the one who took pictures while Nathan hugged his son and told him how proud he was. She was there when Carol had a bad pain day and could barely move her hands. She was the one who helped with the cooking and cleaning, who gently massaged Carol's swollen joints while Nathan was at work. She was there. Consistently, reliably, completely, and somewhere along the way, Nathan stopped looking at her like she was a wealthy stranger playing at normal life. He started looking at her like she belonged. It was late February when things changed. Zara was making dinner, Nathan was helping Liam with homework, and Emma was drawing at the table. It was so normal, so domestic, so perfect that Zara felt her chest tighten with emotion. Nathan looked up and caught her staring. "What?" "Nothing, just this is nice." He smiled, really smiled, the kind of smile that crinkled the corners of his eyes. "Yeah, it is." After the kids went to bed, they sat on the couch closer than usual, not touching but close enough that Zara could feel his warmth. "Can I tell you something?" Nathan said. "Anything." "I have not felt this comfortable with anyone since Rachel died. I have not wanted to." Zara's heart hammered. "And now I am terrified because I am starting to feel things I did not think I would feel again, and I do not know what to do with that." "What kind of things?" He turned to face her. "You know what kind of things, Zara. Do not make me say it." "Why not?" "Because once I say it, we cannot unsay it, and if this goes wrong, it does not just hurt me, it hurts my kids." "Nathan, I would never. I know, I believe that, but I am still scared." Zara reached out slowly, giving him time to pull away. When he did not, she took his hand. His rough, calloused, beautiful hand. "I am scared too," she admitted. "I have never felt like this before. I have never wanted to be part of someone's life the way I want to be part of yours. I have never looked at a man and thought this is home, but that is what I think when I look at you." "Zara, let me finish. I know our worlds are different. I know I come from privilege you cannot imagine, but none of that matters to me. The happiest I have ever been is sitting at your kitchen table helping Emma with her spelling words. The most satisfied I have ever felt is fixing dinner while you sleep after your shift. The most alive I have ever been is right now, sitting on this couch with you." Nathan squeezed her hand. "I do not have anything to offer you. No money, no fancy dates, no glamorous life. You have everything I need. You have yourself, you have this family, you have real life, real love, real joy. That is more than I ever had before. You really mean that. I have never meant anything more." He leaned forward slowly, telegraphing his intentions, giving her every chance to pull away. When she did not, when she met him halfway, their lips touched in a kiss that was gentle and tentative and perfect. When they pulled apart, Nathan rested his forehead against hers. "This is crazy. Completely insane. My kids are going to have so many questions. Are you worried about what they will think? Are you kidding? Emma has been asking when you are going to move in since Christmas, and Liam asked me last week if it was okay if he loved you like a bonus mom." His voice cracked slightly on the last words. Zara felt tears spring to her eyes. "He said that, he did, and I told him that if that was how he felt, it was absolutely okay, because I was starting to feel the same way." "What way?" "Like maybe I am falling in love with you. Like maybe I already have." Zara kissed him again, deeper this time, pouring all her emotions into it. When they finally broke apart, both breathless, she said, "I definitely already have. Fallen in love with you, I mean." They stayed up late into the night, talking about what this meant, how to navigate their different worlds, how to blend their lives without disrupting the kids or moving too fast. It was not a fairy tale moment. It was real and complicated and full of logistics. It was perfect. When Nathan finally left for his shift, he kissed her one more time at the door. "This does not change anything right now, you know. I still have to work nights. Money is still tight. Life is still messy. I know. But having you in it makes it better, makes everything better. For me too." As winter faded into spring, their relationship deepened. They were careful around the kids at first, not wanting to confuse or upset them. But Emma and Liam had always been perceptive, and they figured it out quickly. "Are you Dad's girlfriend now?" Emma asked one day while they were coloring together. Zara looked up to find Nathan in the doorway, clearly wanting to know how she would answer. "Would that be okay with you?" Zara asked. Emma considered it seriously. "Will you still help me with my drawings?" "Of course." "And come to my dance recital next month?" "I would not miss it." "Then yes, it is okay." Emma went back to coloring like she had not just given the most important blessing of Zara's life. Liam was more reserved, but he came to her one evening while she was doing dishes. "Zara, can I ask you something? Always. You are not going to leave, are you? Like if you and Dad are together now, you are staying?" The fear in his voice broke her heart. "Liam, I am not going anywhere, I promise." "But what if you and Dad break up? Adults break up sometimes." She dried her hands and turned to face him fully. "You are right, they do. But Liam, even if something happened between your dad and me, which I do not think it will, I would never just disappear from your life. You and Emma, you are important to me. Completely separate from how I feel about your dad. You are my friend, do you understand? I think so. And just so you know, I love your dad very much, and I am not going anywhere." His face relaxed. "Good, because you make good mac and cheese and Dad always burns it." She laughed and hugged him, feeling him relax into it. Carol's blessing was harder won. She watched Zara carefully for weeks, clearly assessing whether this was real or a rich woman's phase. It was not until a day in April, when Carol was having a particularly bad pain episode and Zara spent 12 hours helping her, that things shifted. Zara did not complain, did not act like it was a burden. She just helped, quietly and competently, doing whatever was needed. That evening, Carol took her hand. "You love him, really love him?" "I do. And my grandchildren, like they are my own." "They are not your own, Zara. They are his. They are Rachel's. You need to understand that and respect it." "I do understand. I would never try to replace their mother. I just want to love them and take care of them and be part of their lives in whatever way they need me to be." Carol nodded slowly. "Good. That is the right answer. Rachel was my daughter-in-law and I loved her dearly, but she is gone, and Nathan deserves to be happy again. Those kids deserve to have someone who loves them like you do. Just do not forget where you came from when things get hard." "I won't. And do not let your money become a problem. Nathan has his pride. It is important to him to provide for his family. I know. I am trying to be sensitive to that. Try harder, because that is going to be your biggest challenge. She was right. As spring turned to summer, the issue of money became harder to ignore. Zara had essentially been living a double life, playing normal during her time with Nathan and the kids, while still running a billion-dollar company from her laptop. But the disconnect was becoming untenable. The breaking point came in June. Nathan's truck was beyond repair, and he had been relying on rides from coworkers and Zara, but his pride was clearly suffering. I need to buy a vehicle, he said one night. I have been saving, and I think I can afford something used, maybe not reliable, but something. Zara knew he had about $2,000 saved. She also knew that anything he could buy for that amount would be a money pit. What if we looked together? She suggested. I am pretty good at negotiating. Zara, I appreciate it, but I need to do this myself. Nathan, please let me help. Help how? By buying me a truck, by throwing money at the problem. That is not help, that is charity. It is not charity when it is for someone you love. Yes, it is. Zara, you do not understand. Every time you fix something with money, every time you make my life easier because you can afford to, it makes me feel like less of a man. Like I am failing my kids. That is not true, and you know it. Is it not? You drive me to work because I cannot afford a reliable vehicle. You buy groceries because you are already at the store. You bought my kids Christmas presents that I could never afford. You are living in that huge estate while we are cramped in this tiny house. Do not you see how that makes me feel? Zara felt like she had been slapped. I never meant to make you feel that way. I know you did not. That is what makes it so hard. You are trying to help. You are trying to love us. But your kind of help comes with a price tag I can never match. I do not need you to match anything, but I need to. Do not you understand? I need to be able to provide for my family. I need to be able to take you on a date without worrying about the cost. I need to be able to give you things too, not just take and take and take. They were both standing now, emotions running high. You give me everything that matters, Zara said, her voice breaking. You have given me a family, a home, a reason to be happy. How can you not see that? And you have given me constant reminders of how much I am failing, of how much I cannot give you or my kids. He ran his hands through his hair. Maybe this was a mistake. Maybe we are too different. Do not say that. Nathan, please do not say that. I think you should go. No, we need to talk about this. I cannot talk about this right now. I am too angry, and I do not want to say something I cannot take back. Please just go. Zara left, tears streaming down her face, her heart breaking. She drove back to her estate and cried harder than she had cried in years. She had finally found love, found family, found happiness. And she was losing it because of the very thing that was supposed to make life easier. Her wealth, her success, her money, all of it was driving a wedge between her and the man she loved. For 3 days, she did not hear from Nathan. She did not go to the house, did not drive him to work. She gave him space even though it killed her. On the 4th day, Emma called her. Zara, why are not you coming over anymore? Did we do something wrong? No, sweetheart, you did not do anything wrong. Then why are not you here? Dad is sad and Liam is worried and I miss you. I miss you too. Are you and Dad broken up? I do not know, Emma, but you love him, right? So much. And he loves you. He told Grandma so. I heard him. Sometimes love is not enough, sweetie. That is stupid. Love should always be enough. She said it with the absolute certainty of a 7-year-old, and it made Zara smile through her tears. You are absolutely right. Can I talk to your dad? Emma must have handed over the phone because Nathan's voice came through, tired and rough. Zara. Hi. Hi. He was quiet for a moment. I am sorry. I was an idiot. You were not an idiot. You were honest about your feelings. I was prideful and stubborn and I hurt you. That makes me an idiot. Nathan, can you come over? I think we need to talk, really talk. I will be there in 20 minutes. When she arrived, Nathan was waiting on the porch. He looked like he had not slept much either. The kids are at Mom's for a few hours, he said. I wanted to talk without them overhearing. They sat in the living room, the space between them feeling like a canyon. "I have been doing a lot of thinking," Nathan said. "About us, about money, about pride. And I realized something. I have been so focused on what I cannot give you that I have been ignoring what I can. And more importantly, I have been ignoring what you have been trying to tell me." "What have I been trying to tell you?" "That you do not care about money, that what you want from me has nothing to do with material things. You want love and family and belonging, and those are things I can give you. Those are things I have been giving you." "Nathan, I never wanted to make you feel inadequate." "I know, and that is my issue to work through, not yours. But Zara, we need to find a middle ground here. I cannot let you pay for everything and feel good about myself, but I also cannot let my pride destroy what we have." "So what do we do?" "We talk about it. We figure out what feels right for both of us. Maybe sometimes you help with things, but you ask first instead of just doing it. Maybe I accept help more gracefully. Maybe we figure out ways that I can contribute to, even if it is not financial." "I do not need you to contribute financially." "I know, but I need to. Can you understand that?" "I am trying to." "And there is something else." He took a deep breath. "If we are really going to do this, if we are really going to build a life together, then we need to be partners. That means being honest about money, about my struggles, about your wealth, all of it. No more walking on eggshells. I can do that. And it means accepting that sometimes I am going to be stubborn and proud, and you are going to need to call me out on it. I can definitely do that." He smiled, really smiled for the first time in days. "Can you forgive me for being an idiot? Only if you forgive me for being insensitive." "Deal." He pulled her close, and she went willingly, wrapping her arms around him and holding tight. "I love you," she whispered. "So much." "I love you too. And Zara, thank you for not giving up on us. Never. You are stuck with me now. Good." They worked hard after that to find their balance. Zara started asking before helping, respecting Nathan's need to handle things himself when he could. Nathan started accepting help more gracefully, recognizing it as love rather than charity. It was not always easy. They argued sometimes about money, about parenting decisions, about how to blend their different worlds. But they always talked it through, always came back to love. In August, Zara made a major decision. She stepped down as CEO of her company, transitioning to a board position that allowed her to stay involved, but not be consumed by day-to-day operations. Her executives were shocked, but she had never been more certain of anything. "I do not want to run a company," she told Nathan. "I want to live a life, with you and Emma and Liam. Are you sure? That is a huge decision." "I am completely sure. I have spent my entire adult life building something that was supposed to make me happy, but it never did. You make me happy. This life makes me happy. So what will you do instead?" "I have been thinking about that. What if I started a foundation, something focused on helping single parents, providing resources and support and opportunities, something that actually makes a difference in people's lives?" "That is a great idea. I would need someone with real-world experience to help me run it, someone who understands what single parents actually need, not what wealthy donors think they need." He looked at her suspiciously. "Are you offering me a job?" "I am offering you a partnership. Running a foundation together, making a real difference. You could quit the night shift, be home with your kids in the evenings, and still earn a good salary doing meaningful work." "Zara, I do not have qualifications for something like that. You have better qualifications than anyone I know. You have lived it. You know what helps and what does not. Besides, you are smart and hardworking and good with people. Those are the qualifications that matter." He was quiet for a long time. "I would need to think about it, talk to the kids about it. It is a big change." "Of course. Take all the time you need." 3 weeks later, Nathan gave his notice at the manufacturing plant. He was nervous but excited about this new chapter. The foundation launched in October, and Nathan proved to be brilliant at connecting with families, understanding their needs, and developing programs that actually helped. Watching him thrive, seeing him come home in the evenings to have dinner with his family, witnessing his confidence grow as he realized how good he was at this work. Zara fell even more in love with him. On Christmas Eve, exactly 1 year after Zara had spent that first Christmas with the Morrisons, Nathan surprised her. They were all at the estate, which Zara had been renovating with the family's input. It was no longer a cold showcase. It was warm and lived in, with Emma's artwork on the walls and Liam's building projects on shelves and family photos everywhere. After the kids went to bed, Nathan took Zara's hand and led her outside to where 2 snowmen still stood in the clearing, rebuilt every time they melted, a tradition now. "Do you remember the first time we met?" Nathan asked. "I was standing at my fence line, watching you build a snowman with your kids, thinking I had never seen anyone so full of joy and love. I was thinking you were the most beautiful woman I had ever seen and probably completely out of my league. I am not out of your league. You are not out of mine. We are just right for each other." "Yeah, we are." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small box. Zara's heart stopped. "This is not fancy," Nathan said, opening the box to reveal a simple ring with a small diamond. "I saved up for it myself. No foundation money, no help. Just me, saving as much as I could every week because I wanted to buy you a ring that came from me." Tears streamed down Zara's face. "Zara Harper, you have changed my life in every possible way. You have loved my kids like they are your own. You have honored Rachel's memory while making space for your own place in this family. You have challenged me to be better, to accept help, to believe I am worthy of love. You have given me a partnership and a purpose and a future I never thought I would have again." "Nathan, let me finish. I know I do not have much to offer. I know your life with me will never be as luxurious as the life you could have, but I can promise you love, real and true and forever. I can promise you a family that will always be grateful you found us. I can promise you that every single day for the rest of my life, I will choose you." He got down on one knee in the snow, beside the snowman they had built together. "Will you marry me?" "Yes," Zara said through her tears. "Yes, yes, yes." He slipped the ring on her finger and she pulled him up to kiss him, pouring all her love and joy and gratitude into it. "I love you so much," she whispered against his lips. "And this ring is perfect because it came from you, from your heart. That makes it worth more than anything." They were married the following spring, in a small ceremony in the clearing where they had first met. Emma and Liam stood up with them, beaming with pride. Carol cried happy tears. A small group of close friends celebrated with them. It was simple and beautiful and perfect. Their honeymoon was a week in a cabin in the mountains, just the 2 of them. Nathan kept apologizing that it was not more exotic, more expensive. Zara kept telling him it was exactly what she wanted. "Do you ever miss it?" Nathan asked one night as they sat by the fireplace. "Your old life, I mean, the power and prestige and unlimited resources." "Never, not even once." "Really?" "Nathan, I spent years accumulating wealth and power and I was miserable. Now I have love and family and purpose, and I am happier than I ever imagined possible. Why would I miss being miserable, when you put it that way? Besides, I still have resources. We are just using them for good now instead of just accumulating more. The foundation is making a real difference in people's lives. That matters more than any business deal I ever made. You are pretty amazing, you know that? Only because you helped me become this person. You taught me what matters. You showed me how to live." They made love that night with the kind of passion and tenderness that comes from truly knowing and being known by another person. Afterwards, lying in Nathan's arms, Zara thought about that day she had stood at her office window, feeling empty and lost, wondering where her life had gone wrong. She had found her answer in the most unexpected place, in a struggling single father building snowmen with his kids, in a family that had nothing but gave her everything, in a love that was real and complicated and absolutely worth every challenge. Life with Nathan was not always easy. Money was still sometimes tight, even with both their salaries from the foundation. The kids had bad days and good days. Carol's health continued to decline. They argued about how to handle Emma's sass or Liam's perfectionism or how many family events to attend. But they handled it together, as partners, as a team, as a family. A year after their wedding, Zara found out she was pregnant. Nathan cried when she told him, happy tears this time. Emma and Liam were thrilled about getting a baby brother or sister. Will you still love us the same? Liam asked quietly one night. Zara sat beside him on his bed. Liam, listen to me carefully. I have loved you from the moment I met you. You and Emma, you are not my stepchildren. You are my children in my heart where it matters. A new baby is not going to change that. It is just going to make our family bigger. Okay? Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Always make sure, always ask, never doubt that you are loved and wanted and essential to my happiness. Their daughter was born in March, a spring baby with Nathan's dark hair and Zara's blue eyes. They named her Rachel Grace, honoring both Nathan's late wife and the grace that had brought them all together. Emma and Liam doted on their baby sister, arguing over who got to hold her more. Carol, despite her pain, spent hours rocking Rachel and singing old lullabies. Watching Nathan with their daughter, seeing him cry as he held her for the first time, Zara felt her heart overflow. This man, this beautiful, strong, loving man was her husband. This family was hers. This life was real. Sometimes she thought about that first day, standing at her fence line, watching a father build a snowman with his kids. How lost she had been. How empty her success had felt. How desperately she had needed something real. And then she looked at Emma teaching Rachel to clap, at Liam building an elaborate mobile for his sister's crib, at Nathan singing off-key while he changed diapers, at Carol smiling despite her pain, and she knew. She had found her something real. She had found her everything. The foundation grew and thrived, helping hundreds of families every year. Zara and Nathan worked side by side, building something meaningful together. They hired people who had lived the struggles they were trying to address, creating jobs and providing support and making a real difference. Emma grew up to be an artist, her early love of drawing blossoming into real talent. She never forgot that Zara had been the first person to really encourage her, to buy her good art supplies, to believe in her. Liam became an engineer, just as he had dreamed. He built bridges and buildings, and always credited his father and Zara for teaching him that strong foundations were about more than just structure. They were about love. Rachel grew up knowing she was loved beyond measure, with 2 older siblings who adored her, a father who would do anything for her, and a mother who had chosen this life deliberately and never regretted it for a moment. Carol passed away when Rachel was 5, surrounded by family. Her pain finally ended. At her funeral, she was remembered as a woman who loved fiercely and judged fairly and always put her family first. Years passed. The estate became a true home, filled with noise and love and life. Every winter, without fail, the family built snowmen in that clearing. It became their tradition, their way of remembering how they all came together. On their 20th wedding anniversary, Nathan and Zara stood in that clearing, watching their 3 kids build an elaborate snow sculpture. Emma was home from art school, Liam from engineering college, Rachel was 15 and dramatic about everything. "Do you remember the first snowman we built here?" Nathan asked. "I remember everything about that day. I remember thinking you had something I had been searching for my whole life." Joy, love, real, honest, uncomplicated love. "Our love has been plenty complicated," Nathan laughed, "but it has always been real." He pulled her close and she leaned into him, this man who had taught her what mattered. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" "For letting me love you. For loving me back. For giving me this family, this life, this everything. Zara, you gave me at least as much as I gave you. Then I guess we are even. Not even close. I am definitely winning." She laughed and kissed him. This man she had fallen in love with while watching him build a snowman. This man who had shown her that happiness was not about what you owned, but who you loved. Their kids called them over, wanting help with the snow sculpture. Rachel had ambitious plans that probably were not structurally sound. Emma was trying to add artistic flourishes. Liam was calculating weight distribution and stress points. Nathan and Zara walked hand in hand through the snow, toward their children, toward their life. And Zara thought, not for the first time and not for the last, that she had finally found what she had been looking for all along. Not success or wealth or power or prestige, just this. Just love, just family, just home, just everything that mattered.